It's okay.
The people
Well,
who
welcome
watch
back
this
Yay!
to Writers
back,
Bible.
welcome. Our booth. You saw it. It's great. Writers to watch.
Woohoo!
Everybody, thanks for coming. We know time is short. We'll get right to it, but you can see everything that we're offering here. Lots of authors, writers to watch once a month, Galley Gab Fest once a month. We'll talk to you more about it later, but call us with questions, email us, get auto approved, most of all. Most importantly, Lainey said, auto approved. Sign up to get auto approved to receive our e-galleys because that's the way you get to spread the word about the books by accessing them easily. How was that for 30 seconds?
Way nice.
Perfect. And we'll come back to Writers to Watch and we'll jump right in with Strange Pictures.
Oh,
Hit it.
okay. All right. Sorry, I'm like 10 screens here. Okay. Strange Pictures by Uketsu. So this is a really fascinating, fun book, and I immediately was drawn in with the saying quiet horror. I don't know. That just some seems so eerie, but I love horror, so it seemed a little different. I didn't know it, and so we're gonna get right in. So Uketsu is a presence on YouTube and kind of this. I read this article by the translator of this work, and he said this presence writes articles for websites and creates narratives and music videos on YouTube and publishes books in this kind of strange overlap of creepy, humorous, cute, but they always wear a white mask and a black body stocking, so no one knows who they are, and the voice is always digitally distorted. So it's a very kind of creepy presence in general, just the creator of this work. But we have both novels from this character, Strange Pictures and Strange Houses, coming from Harper Via. But I want to talk about Strange Pictures first. It was a massive hit in Japan, where he lives. And I'll put the link to the translator's note in here because it was on his website and it was really fascinating. I think it gives you a good overview of what this enigma is. And so they have really revitalized traditional horror, blending psychological horror and police procedural and all of those conventions that we found already into like a puzzle. It's super fun. Um, and so I feel like it's really made for that internet generation. I mean, me who watches strange videos, grew up on it, like Too Many Cooks, anyone, watch it all the time, love it. So it's like the weirdness, and I kind of like I'm here for it. But in this story, we see a uh, pregnant woman's sketches on a kind of, blog that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it conceals a chilling warning. A child's picture of his home contains a dark secret message. And so the sketch is made by a murder victim in his final moments, and it leads an amateur sleuth down a rabbit hole that will reveal a horrifying reality. It's structured around these nine childlike drawings. They have disturbing clues, and it kind of invites readers to piece together the mystery behind each of them and the overarching story that connects them. And so there's this visual imagery with the storytelling. So I don't know, it's just kind of a weird mix of things, but it works really well. And there's some great quotes coming in. Janice Hallett said, "Dare you say what you see? Not if it's between the unnerving pages of Strange Pictures. The refreshing, original, eerie treat of a puzzle invites the reader to immerse themselves in the darkest of mysteries. So captivating, I read it in a day. So disturbing, I thought about it all night. It's a disruptor, a master of quiet horror." And there's going to be a hardcover as well, simultaneous edition. So I don't know. I invite you into the weird. I invite you to have fun with this one. And I'll put a link. I have a weird little promo video. I'll put a link in there you can watch from Harper Via for it. And then I'll put a link to the translator's note. I just think it's so cool. I'm excited about this one. And I personally didn't know anything about this Enigma character that makes these videos. So that was a fun treat too.
It reminds me of that like sect of the internet in like 2012 that had like Slenderman, like those like creepy videos.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was pumped to hear this one.
For sure. Yeah. Like Adult Swim commercials, those kind of things, like just funky. Um, and all I can think of is that man in that suit with the pumpkin head dancing. Like that's all I think about. Um, okay. So next is Poppy Kuroki, Gate Kagoshima. So Poppy was born in Scotland, has been living in Japan since 2014. So this is a romance slash historical slash fantasy. Think Hurricane Wars, Time Traveler's Wife. It's like Outlander set in Japan. So while in Japan researching her family's history, a suspicious storm sends Isla Mackenzie 128 years back in time via Shrine Gate to the Satsuma Rebellion. So like Last Samurai, think that. So she meets her ancestors and a charismatic samurai key who she, unexpectedly finds a romance with. And so she knows about this looming rebellion that's coming and the fate of these people. And so should she attempt to change it, or should she kind of make her way back to her old life? So it's immersive. It's kind of got an entry point for everyone. There's a little YA crossover. It's, if you're a romantasy fan, yes, but just historical fiction. It's got this grounding in it, and it's super not spicy. Like there's a little, but it's not super spicy. So that's a good crossover angle too. And it's just really well researched. She conducted a lot of historical research while traveling across Japan, interviewing historians and tour guides, and even a descendant of Saigo to Takamori, the leader of this rebellion. So we bought two of what is three books, and they're all going to be about time travel with overlapping characters. So there's even more from this series, and it has that beautiful stenciled edges with the flowers. You can see that on the screen. Where it was a fun read, and I learned a lot. It had me Googling. I was down the rabbit hole. So that's Gate to Kaishima. And then we have Boxcar Librarians. You probably know Brianna Labuscus from this come out in March. Oh, I see the date. Thank you, Grace. She wrote the Librarian of Burned Books and the book Lost Book of Bond. She's all about telling historical stories of books about books. We love them. This is shifting a little for her. It's now it's not World War II. It's the Great Depression. So when it's a threat that a potential political scandal will surface, the WPA editor Millie is sent off to Montana, and while she's there, she's gonna work on travel books, and these books were part of the Great American Guide series, and they were created to provide work to writers during the Depression. So when she arrives, she's entranced by the mystery of a local librarian and the Boxcar Library, which is a converted mining train that brings books to isolated rural communities, kind of like a bookmobile. And so years earlier, Alice Munro founded this library, and Colette Duran, a miner's daughter, staffed it. But after their first trip out, only Alice returns. So there's a little mystery there, and they're setting out to figure out what happened to Colette. And so it's based on a real story, a true story. So the epic project in the 20s, it goes back and forth. And it also will have a simultaneous hardcover, and it's very timely because, talk about all these social issues, especially like workers' rights, unionizing, labor movements, that's all here. And there's like a gay romance as well. So it's just got a lot to discuss. It's gonna be great for book clubs. And that's me.
Right. Thank you, Lainey. I love Brown Labuscus, and I'm really excited to have another one from her. But my first book is called The Mavericks Museum by Blake Gopnik, who is a leading art critic in America. And I was thinking about this, and I would love to have a job, which my title just like has critic in it. Like that would be very fun. I would love to be able to get paid to like judge things like that. Anyway, he is the author of the comprehensive biography about Andy Warhol. So he's more than qualified to write this book and is the perfect person to do so. So this book looks at America's first great art collector and of modern art, Albert Barnes. He was born in Philadelphia after the Civil War and earned a medical degree. And he made this big fortune, but he was really an advocate for the working class, remembering, how he grew up. And his art collection was dedicated to fostering rich cultural lives of those around him. And it's a really interesting intersect of, I don't know if I want to use a word like social benefits through art, because I mean, we all know that art is important for our cultural lives, but I think this was really a hot take at that time. So this biography is meticulously researched and examines how Barnes was this advocate for ideals of the progressive movement and his impact on the art world. And he had exclusive access to Barnes' extensive collection. So it just makes for a really fantastic read. And I think academic libraries in particular are going to want to have this in their collection, especially if you have a lot of, art students or people of the sort. So that is the Mavericks Museum. Okay, next we have Retreat by Kristen Ritter, who is a huge actress and a best-selling author of the book Bonfire. I was so excited to see this. I was a huge Breaking Bad fan, and I just will always have to say justice for Jane every time I think about this book. But this is a thriller about a stunning con artist who stumbles across the perfect con, kind of like Anna Delvey sort of vibes, but definitely different. She doesn't realize that this con that she has come into is actually a nightmare. Liz is mistaken for Isabella, who is a gorgeous and wealthy owner of a villa on a Mexican coast, and Liz is installing art for her, and she slips into her life when she's mistaken for Isabella. And it's so easy to do this. Everything's kind of working out seamlessly, but nothing is ever that easy. And she kind of starts to wonder, like, who is Isabella and why has she seemingly abandoned her beautiful life? And this may be the scam that puts Liz in real danger. Spoiler alert, this is a thriller, so she is put in danger. And it's just a really fun read. It's for fans of First Lie Wins, and the setting of the villa gives like White Lotus vibes. So very excited for that one. Okay, Crash Landing. This is a debut novel. I think the cover is so pretty. I mean, there is a plane crash in the back, but it's a very gorgeous cover. And this rom-com has a premise that sounds like my personal nightmare, but it is truly such a fun and heartwarming read. Two exes are reunited when a plane crash leaves them stranded on a deserted island. Again, truly my nightmare, but this is a rom-com, so it doesn't go poorly for them. It's super funny and filled with tropes like forced proximity, second chance romance, opposites attract, one bed, and more. And this follows Piper, who is doing like many have done before and telling herself that she is 100% over her ex, Wyatt. After he broke her heart, she does what I like to call bubble wrapping, where you like try to control and everything in your life and protect yourself in any way possible from emotional heartbreak. And in this case, she decides to stop taking risks and she's like, I'm going to build the perfect life. And we all know that that's not how things work, but she's going to try anyway. And her plan gets derailed at the airport. She's, en route to her best friend's destination wedding when she runs into Wyatt, and then things just get worse when her flight is canceled. But he kind of swoops in with the solution. She can hitch a ride with him on a tiny plane that he's flying to attend the wedding as well. Sure, it's awkward, but the plane crashing in the Caribbean makes it significantly worse. The two are complete opposites, and this is only more obvious when they're on the island. He's adventurous. He knows how to he knows his way around a fire, which is very helpful for her, but she's this rule follower and she's trying to adjust her circumstances. And as time passes, their chemistry intensifies. This is about second chances, letting go of that need to control everything in your life. And I just think it's a really fun read. Mallory Marlowe, the USA Today bestselling author of Love and Other Conspiracies, says, if you're stranded on a deserted island and can only bring one book, you want it to be Crash Landing. Annie McQuaid's debut is full of high stakes and even higher spooning. Readers will be rooting for Piper and Wyatt's love story and survival from page one. This dual timeline adventure romance is tender, suspenseful, and sensual all at once. So that is Crash Landing, and I'm passing it over to Virginia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Indeed.
Cool. All right, very quickly. The Griffin Sisters, Greatest Hits by Jennifer Weiner. We're so excited to have her on our list. This book comes out April 8th. She is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of books like Good in Bed and In Her Shoes and Mrs. Everything. The list goes on and on. In this book, she delivers this novel about this world of pop music and these two sisters. It's a story of sisterhood, motherhood, young love, and dreams that we chase. And sometimes you don't get to, sometimes you don't reach the brass ring. In this case, the sisters, Cassie and Zoe Grossberg, they do reach the brass ring, but sort of momentarily. They're just a year apart. They couldn't be more different. Zoe's got, charm and beauty, and she always wanted fame. And Cassie was this musical prodigy, but never felt sort of, a comfort in her own skin. And she sort of liked to be in the shadows. But together they they formed this pop group, the Griffin Sisters, and in the early 2000s, they soared to the top of the charts. And Cassie tolerates the limelight, even though executives are desperate to sort of hide her plus size figure. Zoe got everything she wanted, fame, money, the man of her dreams. And then about a year later, something happens and they break up. And then fast forward 2 decades later, Zoe is a housewife and Cassie's off the grid and they're not talking to each other. And Zoe has a teenage daughter who wants to be a star herself and is on a quest to find Cassie, her aunt, and learn what happened to these two, what happened to her mother and her sister, what happened all those years ago. So all these secrets come out, and these three women have to face the consequences of the choices that they had made. And you know, it's a family and it's broken and can it be repaired? And that's the story of this book. Will they ever make music again? It's great for book clubs. It's got this world of music and this wonderful plot and this juicy theme and great characters. So, as I say, we are just so excited to have Jennifer Weiner on our list. And so, yay for us and yay for everyone who gets to read it. Make Me Famous by Maud Ventura. This goes on sale in May. Her first book was called My Husband, and it was about a woman who was obsessed with her husband. And I know, Grace, we were just talking to the publicist about that book yesterday, and now this book, and everybody's so excited. And Grace, if you want to chime in a second,
Oh,
when we
yeah.
get to that, you
I-
go
I
ahead,
think-
tell them.
I think you should. My Husband was this really fun, like twisty, like psychological book. I feel like I don't want to say too much about it because like I've never been so gagged by a twist before. I read this book in like 2 hours sitting at my desk, which I like never like sit at my desk and read ever. I don't who has the time for that, but I was so into this book when I first read it. I could not stop. And it was so good. Everybody I've recommended it to loves it. It's about this like wife who's like very obsessed with her husband and does everything she can to like make everything perfect for him. You really, really have to read it. It was so good. So I was pumped when we saw we have another one from Maud.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Grace. Because it's like it sounds kind of wacky, you know. She's obsessed with her husband, but you go into this rabbit hole. And anyway, she's a really wonderful writer, very different and very smart, and just you know, she takes this topic and just goes down, down, down. So now in this book, Make Me Famous, this is about obsession of a different kind, and it's sort of an unhinged character. Her name is Cleo. She's half French, half American, and she's obsessed from a young age with being a famous singer. Seeing a little theme here between my first two books. But so when we first meet her, she's 33. She's taking a sabbatical on a remote desert island, as one will do. She's in the South Pacific. She's, of course, got tons of money, and she's completely isolated herself. And she's trying to write another album. So but she's going through, just thinking back to her recent past and some things that have gone on. And the novel switches between her time on the island and her memories of her life up until that point, including her big break on TikTok at the age of 25, and her much publicized relationship with a child actor. So the tension is high from the beginning because we know that something really bad has happened to her. Why is she off there? Why, you know, what's going on here? And at the end, well, as Grace said with the other book, you get, you know, it packs a punch at the end. It delivers. And so it's full of details about being a celebrity in this day and age. You know, she's sort of a Taylor Swift type persona, and there are references to Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo and Miley Cyrus. So she did a lot of research when she was writing this book just to make sure she got it all right and everything rings true. There's a line here that the editor wrote that said, the best way to describe this is if Patricia Highsmith wrote The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. We're totally in the Taylor Jenkins Reid universe here. Now, so Maud Ventura will be one of 4 speakers on our monthly show, Writers to Watch, which is, we feature 4 authors. It's typically 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure if this one is, can one of you guys confirm what time this is happening on October 29th?
This one
Is
is
it
at
6 o'clock.
PM, yeah.
What?
PM Eastern.
What time?
6.
6. Okay. We try to make it 6, but sometimes we have to, we try to make it 7, but sometimes we have to adjust time because we have authors coming from across the pond. It's all virtual. Anybody can join. And so Writers to Watch on October 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. You can log on through Facebook or Crowdcast, and you can find all that information here on our site, or call us up or email us. But it'll be, in addition to Maud, it will be Jillian McAllister, Joseph Finder, and Nnedi Okorafor. So we have 4 wonderful authors coming on. So very excited about that. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Writers to Watch before I go to my last book?
Okay.
Here's
Okay.
the image though, so everyone can see the jackets, and then I'll bounce back.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right. Then the last one is Mary Alice Monroe, another author thrilled to have under the roof of HarperCollins House. Her book is called Where the Rivers Merge. It comes out in May 13th. And it celebrates a woman's life across multiple generations in the American South. So first, in 1908, there's the low country of South Carolina is at the cusp of change. There's this grand estate that's been held for generations by this family, the Rivers family, and the estate is called Mayfield. It's this treasured home of young Eliza. She is a great character. She's free-spirited, and she's not going to be held back by, confines of societal norms. She does her own thing. She goes through the fields, and she just enjoys Mayfield, the wildlife, the horses, the everything. She loves it. And these days of hers, these wonderful days, and this childhood is cut short by the Great War, coastal storms, and unexpected challenges to Mayfield. So she battles these personal pains and ravages of family turmoil over the years. And her love and devotion for the natural world puts her on a collision course with the patriarchal traditions of a bygone era. Fast forward to 1988, Eliza is 88. She's the descendant of the Rivers Delancey family, and she's fought a lifetime to save her beloved Mayfield. And she's too independent and committed to quietly retire and leave the fate of the estate to her greedy son. She wants to make, she wants to assure that the future of the land and her family will stay intact. So she's set against the landscape of 20th century American South. As I said, multi-generational family of, unyielding love and lessons learned, sacrifices, the wonderful spirit of a woman determined to persevere in the face of change in order to protect her family legacy in the land that she loves. It's sweeping. It's Christina Baker Klein, Lisa Wingate. It's a story of sacrifice and resilience, and a woman protecting the land and its ecosystem. It's a rich tapestry of this historical world filled with drama and adventure and high stakes. And it's gotten great talking points for book clubs: familial drama, generational trauma, and early 20th century feminism, land conservation, and the Jim Crow South. There is so much here. She's such a wonderful writer, and we are so thrilled to have her on our list. So that is my last book. And we got in 9:31. Not bad for us. Yay, baby,
Yeah.
So now what?
Well, we say goodbye and go hear from some authors.
All right.
Yeah. Go hear from all our authors and have so
Yeah.
much fun today, and come visit our booth. And I don't know, anything you want to get whitelisted for any e-galleys we have, we're happy to do that. So just write to us. And thanks for checking in and watching our authors today.
We're here all day, so come say hi.
And thanks, Lainey and Grace, for putting this together. Amazing.
Yeah, no problem. Bye all.